Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and international best-selling author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 74 countries. So whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to us for some time, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening from wherever you are. Life Transformation Radio is all about our transformation. Here, we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that changed our lives and how we use it to then transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, Tuesday through Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. However, today, Monday, January 13th, I have a very special guest for you that I'm so pumped, so honored to bring to my listeners. She is absolutely fantastic. Join us on our Facebook group, Life Transformation Radio Community, and never miss an episode by subscribing wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Life Transformation Radio can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, Google Play Music app, and now we are available on Pandora. My guests on the show are entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, coaches, podcasters, authors, amazing human beings that are impacting the world around them. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you my guest for today, Forbes Riley. Forbes, welcome to Life Transformation
And the crowd
Radio.
goes wild. Woo!
Love it.
Sound of one hand.
Oh, I love it. For the listeners that are listening, if anybody has a question for myself or for Forbes Riley today during this program, call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number is 657-383-1109. I am so pumped, so honored beyond belief to have you on the show. I had goosebumps when you said yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, she said yes. So this was super cool to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know what? Any chance to get the message out that people need to step into their own personal greatness, you really can, if you're the sum of the obstacles you overcome, no matter what happens to you in your life, including for me these last 2 weeks, you get to have a positive spin on it.
Absolutely. I absolutely love it. I watch all of your Facebook Lives. You have such amazing content. You let it go. You let it flow. And you always have a lot of great value for everybody listening. So I cannot wait to dive in to some of that value today. I titled this episode, Dream It, Believe It, Achieve It, with award-winning TV host, Forbes Riley. She is and has created a trusted brand name for herself and is recognized internationally as an award-winning TV host, spokesperson, celebrity fitness and lifestyle expert, professional coach, keynote speaker, actress, and author. By sharing a unique and inspiring philosophy that stresses the integration of fitness, nutrition, and behavioral changes, Forbes empowers people everywhere to define and reach their personal goals, both physical and psychological, and she is the true embodiment of dreaming it, believing it, and achieving it. The websites are right there. Go to ForbesFactorLive.com, Forbes Riley, Riley, ForbesRiley360.com, and there's a free gift from Forbes Riley right there, and it says Facebook. Click on that, connect with her, and let her know that you heard an episode she was on of Life Transformation Radio. My first question for you, and I believe is
by the way, the entire time, I need your listeners to know this. Of course, my Facebook Live friends know. But the entire time that you read my bio, I actually got a full workout in. I've been here spin-gymming the entire time, about a minute and a half. And I will tell you, no, all kidding aside, I'm sitting at the same desk you are. But is your heart racing? I know just because talking to me, it probably is. No. But
yes.
I literally got an amazing pump. My energy shifted, and you can. So doing all that, or you're on a conference call, you have no excuse to not be as fit and as energetic as you can be with an amazing natural product, and that would be my Spin Gym. I got to tell you, I'm crazy about this thing. It's been 10 years, and I'm still as hot about it as I was day one.
Love it. I absolutely love that. So which leads me to my question: what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
Because I don't look as good naked as I used to. Oh, no, wait, that's a different why. Sorry, what was the question? Yeah, okay. So the question is, why do I do what I do? Let me share something. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. And then I have reasons for doing different things. And for all my friends and fans listening, the truth is, the deeper the why, if your why doesn't make you cry, and it's very funny because I'm on my live and Tanya Holland just dropped in, and she was there at part of my health and fitness struggle when we were at an institute eating just raw food and getting colonics. That was a road down. Wow, crazy trip. My mom, some of the obstacles you overcome. So there I am at 8 years old, and I've been hit in the face with a baseball bat, and my nose really crooked off the side of my face. I sucked my thumb when I was a kid, so I had braces for 8 years. Please do not take a beautiful little 8-year-old girl and stick her in braces, full railroad for 8 years. It was 16 by the time I saw my teeth again. I was overweight because fast food had just come out. I had very frizzy hair, a lot of it. I looked like a triangle from the back. And I got to tell you what, I wanted to be a dancer, and I had the chunkiest thighs and was made fun of. So I was made to feel really bad. So many people out there allow someone else to define them by saying something and bullying, especially when you're young. You don't have any skill set to fight back. And I got to tell you, I don't know why this is part of our human nature, but it's devastating. Some people react like I do and say, I'm going to take the bull by the horns, and other people just cower away and you never hear from them, and that's unfortunate. So then you layer in the fact that my mom was 260 pounds my entire life. And I really I had enough. I made enough money as an actress, kind of ironically at that time, because every job I had, they made me. I was on Broadway being told to go to Overeaters Anonymous. I was like, seriously? And it's not like I was obese, but we have a fixation with actresses being very, very tiny, and it so messed with my head and my self-esteem. Yep. But I thought, no, at least I can help my mom. So I got enough money, and I took her to a health club. I bought her a year membership, and I got her to the door, and she wouldn't go in. And I'm like, Mom, come on, let's go in. And she's like, I can't. I said, yes, you can. Go through the door. And she said, well, I can't. I said, what do you mean you can't? She said, baby, I thought that I could. I was so excited that you got this for me, but everybody in that gym is fitter than I am. They know more than I am. I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I'm embarrassed. I just want to go home. And she took herself, and she never did go to the gym. And she died of smoking and diabetes at age 70. And not that she was the most wonderful mom on the entire planet. She just didn't understand how you could achieve health and wellness. And so it's been my mission since then to help other people. And then the universe and with Jack LaLanne. Jack LaLanne is the godfather of fitness. He started it in the early 40s. He had the first club ever. And he and I launched a $1 billion company called the Jack LaLanne Power Juicer in 80 countries over 8 years to get people to juice, to understand the value of raw natural food, how it builds your body, what enzymes are about. And he was on a massive mission. He died at 96, and only because he had a little heart valve issue and caught pneumonia in the hospital, but he'd still be here otherwise. And his demeanor, his whole passion was about getting people healthy and fit, but not making them feel bad. And that was the thing about my mom, is you could have probably bullied her in and said, you need to go there. What if there was a way to do this that was not debilitating? So, for example, if you think of the word diet, odds are you're thinking of deprivation, starvation, right? I made that word different, kind of pilot like an acronym. DIET, and diet then only means decisions I eat today. Okay?
Wow.
Then you find a body that looks like a bodybuilder. Look at what they eat every day. Yeah, then you got to go, all right, I got to eat the chicken, fish, and broccoli 6 times a day. Or you got my friend who's a massive diabetic and loves her body at 320 pounds, but it doesn't seem very healthy. But she tells me she's happy and she eats Captain Crunch at midnight, with extra whole milk. Well, so the diet is a decision that you make. And I actually have a program called Eat Journal, because I personally figured it out for myself. It was never a diet. It was never someone telling me what to eat, when to eat. It was about education. And when you finally understand the value of food, why do you put certain things in your mouth? For me, a lot of it was I was an emotional overeater, so I had to go do some seminar work. I had to really get my head on straight. It wasn't that I didn't know the difference between a brownie and a piece of lettuce. I just didn't want the piece of lettuce. And I will tell you that that's been the work and my mission since I was a little kid. And I'm finally getting to the point where affected millions of people, and that is why I do what I do, because I just had Mary lose 168 pounds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she lost a little bit doing the spin gym. Then she enrolled in Eat Journal. I just put a picture of her up today, 168 pounds. Stacy Saints, who I love, hello, Miss Stacy, she came to me for business training and lost 100 pounds. That was last June. Because when you get your head on straight, when you figure out what's important to you and why you're doing what you're doing, and I make an amazing coach for doing this, and I run a class to get people to just move forward in the most amazing, phenomenal way. The weight falls off of you. Odds are the weight was emotional anyway. Wow, isn't that interesting? If you let some of the baggage go, your weight falls off. This is an interesting phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my one. I got to tell you, I love getting responses on Facebook and email that say, Forbes, you changed my life. My life is better because of you. Who am I that I even have that kind of impact on somebody? Do you know what that does? First, I'm going to start to cry, but I call them rainy day notes. When I get down on myself, I take out my rainy day notes and I read what I've done for other people. And
I love that. Rainy day notes. Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Huh. I mean, wow. So behind me, I have like a huge, massive whiteboard that sits behind me. I can look at my income streams. I can know what my guests are that's coming on the show. I can know, my mission statements there, my whys there. There's things that I track that I'm working on. And then to the left of that, I have a cork board, and I get thank you cards in the mail. And, for example, my friend Karen, she sent me a card, and my grandmother passed away last year. And she sent me a card with a picture, because I'd posted on Facebook that my grandmother passed, and it was a picture of me and my grandmother. She had made me a card. And she goes, hey, I've been listening to your show for a long time. I really want to just give my condolences to you, and like all that. Like, that means something to me. And I hope that I don't get too big, too out of touch with listenership or friends or whatever. I want that to be my focal point and my center. If I could pick a center in this world besides having my wife and kids as my center, it would be the people who send me cards, who say, you had a tragedy and I'm really sorry to hear that. Or, when something amazing happened and they sent me a picture of it, through send out cards, and I got my TEDx talk and they're like, oh my God. And I got a card from one of my friends and it was a picture of that acceptance email that you get. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. And he's like, man, congratulations. I know you've been working hard. I'm really happy for you. And like that type of stuff, like that's how I think that I know that I'm making a difference. When that stuff happens, it feels so good. Yeah, that to me means so much. So the whole purpose of the show is to talk about a transformational moment that has changed your life, directly reflects you being on your purpose. Your transformational moment put you on the path to what you're doing today. So
I'll tell you exactly what it is. There's a bunch of, but this particular one I think is important for people to hear. I went to my first seminar when I was 31 years old. I didn't understand what they were. A friend of mine actually had to pay for me because I didn't understand the value at the time of the money that you need to invest to go to seminar trainings, which, by the way, I am a junkie now, and in a good way. So I go to this training, and in the advanced part of the training, they don't do this training anymore, but I've taken on some of the work that they did because I just love it so much. They have a thing called a stretch where they kind of identify you. There's 77 people. Costume, and they kind of had to put on a girl thing and go from a tutu to a macho, whatever that was. There were a couple of older ladies at the time who maybe had to do kind of a little strip routine to I am sexy. And at the very end of it, there were 4 of us left. The 2 guys and 2 girls, and they made us go get a butler and a maid's outfit and collect money from everybody, $10 from everybody. Remember, this was like 30 years ago, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. And come back, set all the food up. But now everybody got a song to perform, and I'm thinking, hey, this is what I do. I can't wait. In fact, I was just on a cruise ship, and I actually won the entire cruise ship in the lip sync. That's how good I am, and I know it, right? Like, I can't sing, but I can lip sync. And I was so excited to perform,
awesome.
but they're not letting me do that.
Right.
So they actually said, you get to put on the maid's outfit. And I'm like, excuse me? I don't know if you know who I am. I mean, I didn't come from any money, but I made myself a deal when I was in college that I was gonna work really hard to pay someone else to clean my bathrooms. Not because I'm better than that person. I just really am not good at the job. So I always, even if I had to trade dollar for dollar. So I put on the maid's outfit. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. And then they said, you're not allowed to talk to anybody or look at anyone. Your job is to clean up after everyone all night long. Now, and I'm sure you can relate to this, where the editor in your head said, whoa, wait a second. No, they don't know who I am. I'm way more important than this. I should be in there. What's wrong with them? And this is where when you do a training of some sort and you get a mastermind or a mentor, that you let them do their genius, because you can't see, if you're the coffee in the cup, you cannot see what somebody outside of this is doing. And I've been an actress in plays many times, so I know there's a director outside of just me doing my thing. Very important to listen to somebody who's amazing helping you do this. And so I'm cleaning up, and I got to tell you, I'm pissed. And now the editor in my head is now going to justify how pissed I am. This was the wrong training. Why did I spend so much money doing this? How dare they? And I'm like ready to explode. 5 hours into this, it's about midnight, and I just want to quit. But I didn't. I don't know why I didn't, to be honest. I'm just glad I didn't. They take a bouquet of flowers and they blindfold us and they walk us into the room. And I'm thinking, it can't get any worse. Are they going to beat me? And they sit us down, and there's this song playing. Now, I'm not going to say the name of the song. You've never heard of it, but it was the most impactful song I've ever heard. And to this day, I play it on a regular basis, kind of my rainy day notes process. And when we opened our eyes, everyone else in the room was sitting on their knees, and we were like on a little pedestal. And the guy in charge of this, like a Tony Robbins, was actually washing my feet, and somebody was also washing the other people's feet. And he looked at me and said, "You don't know what's going on, do you?" And I'm like, "No, I really don't get it." And he said, "We identified that you're an amazing leader, but to be a great leader, you have to learn how to serve." Oh my God!
Wow.
Let me tell you that. One action of one very insightful man and team that he had behind him led me on a path to really fulfill my life. I was going to be just an actress, and I love being an actress, but it's all about you when you're an actress. Make no mistake about that. He had you down, frustrated, and that happens when you're an entrepreneur. It happens when you're a leader. By the way, when you're a leader, number one, you get lots of haters. I was not ready for haters. I'm really way too sensitive a little girl for that. But you also take a lot of arrows because you're leading the way, and that's where that's where you get fired at first. And so I will play that song, and I will remind myself that one of the lyrics is that this is the moment. It's the greatest moment of your life. And through all the scheming and screaming, you finally arrived, but only if you lead it a certain way. And so I'm humbled a lot, and I get to give a lot. And so that was my big wow moment. And by the way, I do something similar in Forbes Factor Live, because I believe everybody deserves a moment like I had, a moment that holds a mirror up to their heart and their soul and shows them in a way that maybe they have never seen. In fact, when I coach people, I often say, and my students who are watching know this, that a friend loves you the way you are, which means they'll tell you, oh, it's going to be okay, or you don't look fat in that. Forbes Riley loves you way too much.
Military background, love it, because we talk about that followership. And you putting that into context inside of a story, just, oh my gosh, that was amazing. And it just really reinforces, if anybody's really internalizing this, oh man, when you live that example, like they made you live that example, and it's almost like Karate Kid, like show me paint the fence, show me paint the house. Like, I mean, you're literally applying, and it's applicable to what exactly is that they're talking about. And I just absolutely love that. I totally believe in that. You must serve. It's the people around you, and I believe in bottom-up leadership, where you don't need a title to be a leader. Yes, the titles are nice, but I want the younger generation to know that you don't need a title to be a leader. You can be that leader within your sphere of influence, and you can still serve. And so many times I hear that people are so hung up, like, well, that guy's a VP, or this guy's this title. You don't need a title to be a leader. Just lead.
Right.
Yep. Especially like in the military. A lot of the younger guys are like, well, I don't matter. I don't matter. You do. You're leading your sphere of influence, and everybody has that sphere of influence.
There you go.
So you don't need to be big to have one. You lead 1, 2, or 3 or 4 people, your best friends, your family, like everybody. A leader of their family.
Yeah, but don't simplify the concept of leadership. Not everybody needs to do that. Whatever needs to do though is to figure out who they are.
Oh yeah.
And what I actually ask people a very interesting question. I ask them, what's their first memory in life? I know we have a very limited amount of time to get everything we want done today, but let me ask you that question. What's your first memory in life?
My first memory of life, instantaneously, when you started talking about that, I'm thinking about the first house that I remember living in, which was in Centerline. I think it was in Centerline or Warren, Michigan.
What's the actual memory?
The actual memory is me cutting the grass with my mom.
How old were you?
And I was 4, 5, maybe 4 or 5 years old.
Was Dad not in the picture?
No, my dad left.
Okay. So how would I even know that from what you just said? Isn't that interesting? Because it was the way that you said it. Let me ask you a question. What was your decision about life based on that moment, that memory?
That I'm never going to do that to my kids, and I've made it a point. Even though I went and joined the Air Force, just like my dad, I strived my whole life to get his appreciation and approval, and it's just never come. Most of my adult life was that.
Well, isn't it funny? Because it comes from that memory. Number one, do you have children now?
I do. I have 4.
And I bet you're an amazing dad.
I strive every day to be an amazing dad.
Right. The only thing that I would shift is that little sense of self-doubt because Dad left and you wondering whether it had something to do with you or not, whether you've adult come to understand that. The little kid in you, I feel, hasn't come to grips with that. Does that resonate true?
My dad never even called me on Christmas this year. I had to call him.
Got it. So
at like 8 p.m.
Right. So just so you know, you're still dealing with that. I'm going to invite you to come to Forbes Factor because I know that sounds crazy, but that little piece of you, my darling, as successful as you are in all the things that you've achieved, still actually haunts you. And it doesn't matter how big there's a straight get fly fully. And we got all that without me not even seeing your face because it resonates in your voice and the way you. I know. And if we saw your face, I bet you're a little teary. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Got it.
I know. I know. Let me tell you something. I don't know what this gift is that I have that I can hear and feel and see people even right through the computer here. There's an honesty that I hear. And maybe that comes from near-death experiences. You asked me about what was one of the turning points. Let me tell you something. I raised a little boy named Dexter Rideout for 12 years of his life, from 8 to 20. And he was murdered right outside of USC on a Sunday morning because he was wearing the wrong color. As one of my friends here, I was on Facebook Live. I was one of the eyewitnesses to the Las Vegas shooting. It's all on my cell phone. You don't get to go through this much life and not learn and major traumatic survivors, and they all seem to have something a little bit odd about the way they hear, the way people communicate, the value of life. This last January 2nd, talk about way things happen. Joshua, my beautiful fiance, was in a horrific motorcycle accident on January 2. Everyone's running around going, hey, Happy New Year. I'm like, no, we're in the ICU trying to make sure that he's around for next year, okay? Mm-hmm. So this is something else I'll leave with you guys. Bad things happen to all of us. And it isn't what happens to you that matters. It's how you deal with it. And if you don't have a proper set of ways to deal with it, because they don't give you that in school, there's no degree in handling life's crappy situations. And so often they happen before you're old enough to even really process it. That is why I do Forbes Factor Live. I only do it 4 times a year for very small audiences. It's not a big, Tony Robbins type thing. It's still pretty intimate because I'm still a speaker and run a company. But if you're lucky enough to get into a Forbes Factor Live, like I said, I only do 4 of them. It's because you're still holding on to it. And at some point you'll laugh and smile and have a different energy about it because it's not, your dad's not thinking about it the way you are. And I know a lot of you out there have that same issue where you're stuck or you're mad at somebody and it eats at you. I've been there. And they don't even notice. They don't care. So it's you doing this to yourself. You got to start getting rid of that and letting it go to let the real you enjoy your life.
That's one of the things that I talked about with my mom this year. She's like, hey, are you going to go hang out with so-and-so? Are you going to go hang out with this or whatever? I was like, you know what? I just really want to take a year and just be there for my wife and kids because I travel a lot with the military. I travel a lot with my speaking. And, I've got PodFest coming up in March, and I've got all these different events that I'm booked for to go speak at. And the great thing about being that speaker is that my wife and kids always travel with me everywhere I go. And I try to pick a lot of events on the weekends. I try to pick a lot of events, but my wife and kids always get to travel with me.
So and just so you know, the long and the short of this is, let me share something with you. The reason that you do that is because your dad left. Mm-hmm. You're that conscientious a husband and that amazing a father because of what your dad did, just so you know.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I just don't want that. The big thing is I would never do what I was put through as a child. I would never do to my children.
Right, but that's why you're such a great dad. So I'm glad that happened to you, and that's part of the lunacy of what we do in Forbes Factor. You want to erase some shit? Come work with me. Just give me 3 days. I'll change your perspective. And it sounds like you're doing great. Trust me. It's really just kind of heals the little kid in you. All right, I don't want to run out of time here.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about how you elevate the world. So you've been talking about Forbes Factor Live. I see a lot of your Facebook Lives. Tell the world how you, if they don't know who you are, tell them how you elevate the world around you.
Well, that's an interesting question. I think just by doing what I do, by, actually, hang on one quick second. I got it. Okay.
Yep.
The question was, Joshua just came in. It took me away for a second because, like you said, who you care about. Wow. I am an interesting anomaly, given what I see of the world. But long before social media happened, I was living an extraordinary life. In my 20s, I've never had a job. I created a world for myself, a Club Med around the world, so that I could travel and snow ski and water ski. And long before people walked around going, "What you buy? What do you want?" I wanted to be James Bond, so I set out to do that. I had no money. My dad had been in the hospital for 3 years when I was in high school, and by all accounts, I should have just been nothing. Really, we went through some serious shit in my world. I had to do what I want. And I took off for Europe with a book called Europe on $20 a day, and had an adventure for 6 months. Didn't know anybody over there. Never asked why or I don't know how to do this. I would just do things. I mean, I ended up being the first host of the X Games, helping to create that for ESPN, and I know nothing about sports. Wow. But it didn't matter. I know, right? Me and Stuart Scott. That should have gone to somebody who really understood sports, but I was there for that. I was there when cable television started, and I had 18 different television series, from Zig and Zag, the Alpha Dog Challenge on Animal Planet. I launched Fit TV. I've been 180 infomercials. Who am I? Really? So it's been an interesting journey to have lived all this life. And so I think just by being who I am, I get to be a role model. Then I went ahead and fell in love with somebody a little younger than me who was amazingly fit human being, like a 3-time world champion. And I'll tell you what, people are now a little bit of ageism. That's an interesting platform. I on a reality TV show who had a very different motive than I did. I wore my heart on my sleeve, and they kind of made fun of me at the end of the show. It took 5 months to film this reality show, and they told me to go home and it would never work. And they were very, very embarrassing about it on national television. And I woke up the next morning and I Forbes'd it. By the way, to Forbes something means to manifest it, especially when no one else thinks it's possible. I asked the question, what have you Forbes'd lately? Okay? So, and by the way, I have a new book out called What Have You Forbes Lately? I have 36 of my authors in there, because we're creating dreams that everyone else says you can't do. There's no word for that. It goes beyond the law of attraction, beyond manifestation. You've got people around you going, who do you think you are? You're not good enough. You're not educated enough. You're not, fuck them. Excuse my French. I probably have to bleep that out. But because I'm just tired of people who play small, keeping other people playing small. Who lifts you up? You ask me, how do I do this? I get to be a voice for the world that says, come to Forbes Factor. I'm going to teach you how not to play small. You have to get self-confidence. Seriously, you don't know No, we don't know because as a woman, we're put down. We're told to shut up as kids. We don't feel like we're good enough. We're still dealing with the fact that maybe dad left. Was it our fault? You know what? Where's the feel good, lift you up, make you think you can conquer mountains? That's a voice that I am. That's a voice that you hear, by the way, from a lot of men. You hear Gary Vaynerchuk, you hear Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, Tony Robbins. I don't hear enough women. I hear Oprah, I hear little Mel Robbins, but not the way the boys are being heard. So the goal here is how loud can the voice of Forbes Riley get? I'm walking into my 6th decade on this planet, which, believe me, is a wacko feeling. I had no idea. One of my best friends is Elaine Lelaine, Jack's widow. She is 93. And there's something, none of us expect to be the age that we are. We all stop growing at like 15 or 25, whatever it is. But I talk to Elaine all the time. She's like 93. There's not a lot more years left, no matter how good your math is. And your perspective on lived a lot of life. When I hear these 20-year-olds, I'm a life coach. I'm like, great. When you've lived your life, then come talk to me. So
I know.
True.
Somebody told that the other day. They were like, do you have a life coach? I'm like, I got a couple. I got three different life, just coaches in general that are different parts of my business. Like, yeah, I'm a life coach and just seeing if you need anything. I'm like, how old are you? You look young. He's like, yeah, I'm 22. I'm like, dude, bro, come talk to me when you're 30. Like,
I know.
You have no idea,
but those
dude.
youngins are really good at this social media stuff. Let me tell you, they really nail that stuff. I have two 17-year-olds, which is like my ace in the hole because I get to know what's kind of cutting edge and what's unique. And by the way, my daughter has a book that's going to be coming out called Every Company Needs a Kid. She is a little rock star in her world on digital marketing. Who knew? And so it's been an interesting, the goal is, I'm so glad I lived. I remember time ago, you never knew what anybody's birthday was, right? Maybe your close family, right? All of a sudden, Facebook hits, and everybody sends you a birthday card. Everybody says how wonderful, oh my God, you're amazing, and it's like, wow. Well, the same thing just happened for me and Joshua. He got into a horrific accident, and something happened that only usually happens when you die. We had thousands of people reach out to us via social media and say hi, check in, how you doing, prayers for you. And they're people I hadn't seen since I was in grade school. Because the social media net is so big and so deep, and you don't realize who's out there really watching you, but almost everyone in my world and his world thought to step up and make sure that we were doing okay. I mean, it was so overwhelming. And so you say, wow, something really bad happened. I said, yeah, but out of that, something really good came out. I remembered how loved I am. Because prior to Facebook, I had that dream that I was going to die and nobody was going to show up. And now I know that even if they show up virtually, they're going to show up.
Yeah. I love that. Absolutely. My older family, my aunts and uncles, and even my grandmother on my mom's side, she's like, I don't understand you kids and all this stuff or whatever. I'm like, but I have conversations across. I mean, I have conversations with friends in Australia about the Australian fires right now. I have friends that are dealing with other things in Europe and different parts of the world. Like I have friends in Hawaii. It's amazing how connected you can be and call and text people. And then the birthday comes up on the Facebook memories and different things happen. And I've been sick and people are like, oh my gosh, like I was sick too. I can't believe what was going around, but this is what helped me and this is what helped me. And like, I mean, it really is, you feel connected to people and that long to belong, humans have a long to belong, is so much more. And my mom's like, why are you always on the tablets? And kids are always on the tablets, and they're on this and this and this. And how do they have social media? I'm like, that's how kids talk today. That's their language. This is what they know. They're connected. That's so bad. They need to have human interacting. They're interacting.
Yeah,
they're interacting
I know.
with people in different countries.
Yep,
like,
it is crazy.
So I'm just not scared that my kids aren't going to be able to have a conversation because they're having conversations with people in different countries. So there's that. I want to give you an opportunity to shamelessly plug whatever it is that you want the audience to know and to do. Your programs, products, services, whatever you want to offer the listeners today, you can shamelessly plug. Go.
All right, so let's start out with my free gift. Shall we? Write this down wherever you are. Free gift from Forbes Riley. That is a 5-series motivational that I did. It's completely free. It will just blow your mind, and it is also chock full of how to make money in minutes. That's one of the things that I've managed to do my entire life. I made my first million when I was in my 20s. If you want to get fit, wherever, whenever, you've got to check out Spin Gym. Go to myspingym.com and check this puppy out. Whether it is professional baseball players, whether it's people stuck in hospital rooms, professional bodybuilders like my fiance, to my mom, overweight women stuck at home who just don't know how to go to the gym. I have a system here. This thing works like nobody's business. Mary's literally reported 168 pounds weight loss with not much dieting. If you can actually amp your metabolism throughout the day, have fun doing it, join a community. I mean, we are a massive community of people who do this. We do a one-song challenge. You turn on your favorite song, you spin them for 3 minutes, and man, you're exhausted. And then get one and give one. You know, we've been giving a lot to vets, to people who are stuck in wheelchairs. This is the best thing that they can do. And I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, whether you've had a stroke, go to YouTube and see some of my guys. I've got a guy who's got no arms and no legs. With his prosthetics, he is spin gymming. We give them to vets all the time. We have amazing programs and very, very committed to people feeling. And last but not least, you guys got to go to www.forbesfactorlive.com. I teach a 3-day training, and I will give you 100% money-back guarantee. That's how positive I know that this is the most amazing 3-day transformational training. I do it. I own a television studio I built pretty much for this so that I can control the environment. You get on Friday morning, you get off on Sunday night, and I guarantee, who gets to do that? You'll have the most amazing life-changing whatever. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it some days. Business, personal, professional, and all kinds. And by the way, you leave with a network of people who are forever your family. That rarely ever happens, especially as an adult. You don't get to make new friends. You will in my Forbes Factor room, okay? So the other thing, too, is please don't say to me, like I used to say when I was little, I don't have the money. You don't even know how much it is, by the way. But if you sell 2 of them, if you enroll 2 friends to come with you, you get to come for free. So now you've run out of excuses. And that's my goal. Factor, your attitude is different, but your language is different. You're not allowed to say the phrase, I don't know, in my classroom. I smack you in the head. Try saying that in the real world. Somebody says, I don't know, bam, smack him in the head. I don't care what you know. I didn't ask you what you know. In fact, in my business, you have to say yes. One of my guys, Chuck, if you ask him, Chuck, go jump off a cliff, Chuck will go, yes. And you're like, what? He'll come back to me an hour later going, all right, so Forbes, if you want me to jump off the cliff, I need a parachute. The training's going to be 4 weeks. It's going to cost $32,000. Do you still want me to jump off a cliff? And then I get to say no. But so many times when you're asked a question, you immediately go to, I don't know how to do this. Let me tell you something. Most of the billionaires that I've met and interviewed have no idea how they got there. They just kept saying, yes. Can you do this? Can you try? Yes, yes, yes. And all of a sudden, you figure things out along the way. Because if you kept saying no like you do as an adult, you would have never gotten out of diapers or learned how to walk. So the truth is you don't know anything. Just go do it anyway. And that's the kind of things that we focus on in Forbes Factor Live. I don't do I stop pretty quickly, but I just love the training. And so if you're listening to this, you're like, wow, I need to be there. Please reach out to me. You really can find me on social media. I still do my own social media, some of it, because I like being in touch. Like you said, it doesn't matter how big you get. I will always be in touch. One of the greatest things anyone said to me was, Forbes, you're almost nicer in person than you are on camera. And I thought, yeah, that's good. I made a huge mistake not long. I was speaking with Les Brown, and I went on before him, and the crowd, it was an hour and a half, the crowd went nuts. And when I was finished, they all wanted to leave, and I said, wait, we can't leave. You have to all listen to Les. But I promised that I will wait and sign as many autographs as it takes. So Les speaks, I'm backstage. We go out after his speech, and I am now standing outside for 4.5 hours. The line was down the hotel room, around the block, and number one, it was unfortunate because I never took my high heels off. The next day, I couldn't move. My back was so sore. But I did what I said I was going to do. And somebody said, Forbes, why did you do that? I was standing in line for David Cassidy. I wanted his autograph so bad. And I got up to the front, and then they said he had to leave. And that moment is something I will never let somebody else feel. It's why, whether I'm in an airport or wherever I happen to be, if I can physically do it, do something nice for somebody else, make them feel important, because I was made not to be, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yep, totally get that. That's one of the best moments, I think, when I get off stage, is the people that come up to you and go, oh my God, that was amazing. That was like that feedback and that, reciprocity that we have with that person, like that changed my life. I'm like, yes. Like if I just get just one person in the audience that says, I needed to hear this. Oh my gosh, I needed to hear that today. Like, yes. Like that's
well, you're actually
totally
very nice. I don't
love.
need to get one. I actually need to get everybody. I am wicked. When I'm on stage, if you're not paying attention or you snooze off or you're on your phone, I'd rather you get up and leave than disrespect my time. And I will tell you, as soon as I started to own that, I really start most of my speeches by saying, hey guys, here's the deal. If you're going to listen in, lean in, because I'd rather be with Joshua or my twins, two most happy places on earth. But if I'm choosing to spend my time with you right now, you need to make it worth my while. And I will tell you, when you've got the wherewithal, and that, by the way, this comes from me doing a lot of Forbes Factors. I was never this bold before. I'm not rude about it, but I am a lot more demanding because one of my new books says, you get what you tolerate.
Yes.
Got it?
It's a big military term, too. You get what you tolerate.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Crazy, 100%. Huh? This has been awesome. I love doing this with you.
Thank you so much. I want to be respectful of your time, too. So let's do one takeaway. If nobody listens to us and they just clue into the last bit of the show, what is the takeaway? What do you want the audience to know?
That life seems to happen for you, not to you, if you want to find your sense of happiness. Stop walking around saying everything happens for a reason. That means there's somebody up there with a big scorecard, and I don't believe that. I believe things happen and you find the reason. I'm working on finding the reason why Joshua got in a very bad motorcycle accident, why my parents, died at 70. What are the reasons for those things? Well, I get to be an advocate for anti-smoking, for dieting, for fitness level. You people who walk around going, why me? I want to just smack them in the head. Why not you? Why, you know what? When Dexter got murdered, trust me, there was a lot of, why. And then you realize, because now I have a platform to speak out about gun violence or to speak about how important a mentor program is for an inner city kid. You don't realize those things. I wanted to be an actress more than anything, and I got the lead in a TV series. When that got taken away because I wasn't famous enough, I set on the path to do fitness and wellness. And not necessarily my first choice, but people have changed. If it's not to you, then you have to be living your very best life at all times. You just have to keep one step ahead of it and stop feeling sorry for yourself. And I know it's so easy to slip into depression or anxiety, but just, you know what? If you're feeling that way at all, go do something nice for somebody else. Right after Thanksgiving, I found myself walking down to there's a local shelter near here, and I hadn't been there in a while. And I had an extra pie, and I just walked in, and I can't tell you, the smile on their faces, the way that room lit up, and I thought, it's so easy for me to do this at any point, to stop thinking about me and start giving back. Because when you give more than you get, and everyone needs to know this, when you give more than you get more than you would ever imagine. Just don't expect it.
Yep. Right. I love that. What a great way to end the show. You are a rock star. You are amazing. I am completely honored to have you on the show. This has been absolutely phenomenal. If there's anything that I can ever do for you, it's an automatic yes. So just thank you so much for coming on the show, and I wish you the best, and I wish Josh the best.
Thank you. I'm going to take you up on that. I need to now to get a TED Talk, so you're going to reach back out to me privately and say, Forbes, you need a TED Talk. Yes?
You do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. All right. Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest impacting the world around her. If anything resonated with our conversation today, please reach out to myself or Forbes Riley. You can go to ForbesFactorLive.com and join her 3-day event. Absolutely. It is amazing. Go to Forbes Riley, RILEY, ForbesRiley360.com. Facebook link right there, free gift from ForbesRiley.com. Click on the link. Send her a Facebook message. Send her, let her know that you heard her episode of Life Transformation Radio and join her live for her event, ForbesFactorLive.com. And with that, I close the show by saying live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.